cost of goods manufactured and cost of goods sold. I have the textbook pulled up. It's problem 16-21 out of chapter 16, and the working paper template down below so that we can just work this problem in Excel. Use the following information for a manufacturer to compute cost of goods manufactured and cost of goods sold. And then we have beginning and ending balances for our direct materials, our WIP, and our finished goods. And then they gave us some other information. We purchased direct materials, we have labor, and manufacturing overhead. So we'll start out by doing the cost of goods manufactured first. And so our cost of goods manufactured starts out with our beginning WIP inventory. And I tried copying this out of the textbook into Excel so that we could just use cell references, but it's not letting me, so unfortunately we're going to have to type it. Any chance that you do have to just use a cell reference, I'd always recommend that because it minimizes the chance of error and also minimizes the work required on your end. So we start out with our beginning WIP, and then we need direct materials used. And so we're going to then use some subheadings to determine direct materials used. And so that's going to start out with our beginning direct materials. And then from our beginning direct materials, we're going to add all of our purchases of direct materials. And that'll give us direct materials available for use. And then we can subtract out our ending direct materials, and that will finally give us direct materials used. So, and then we're going to indent these. Okay, so this direct materials used is really just a label, so we'll come down to beginning direct materials. And I'm going to go into H so that we can use column I for our subtotal here when we get to direct materials used. So for beginning direct materials, I'm in column H, and we have beginning direct materials of 27,000. Then this additional information has told us we purchased 73,000. And so if we add those two together, we get 100,000 worth of direct materials used. Then, available for use. If we subtract out our ending direct materials, so if we subtract out this 28,000, let me scoot this over into column I. We know that we used 72,000 worth of materials. And you'll see this calculation of what was used quite often, where we take the beginning plus everything we added to get what was available, minus the ending balance to tell us what was used. Okay, so now that we have direct materials used, we're also going to want to include direct labor. And so we have direct labor of 88,000. And we need to include this manufacturing overhead of 43,000. And if we add together the materials, labor, and overhead, that's going to give us total manufacturing costs incurred during the year. And so this is a subtotal of those three things: the materials, the labor, and the overhead. And I'm going to use a sum function instead of typing it, or typing all the plus signs, I guess. Okay, so now if we add together our beginning WIP plus the total manufacturing costs incurred during the year, we have 243,000, and that 243,000 is our total manufacturing costs to account for. Then we'll subtract out our ending WIP, which is 32,000, and this will be in the negative. And that's going to give us our cost of goods manufactured. And so this will be our total cost to account for, and we're going to say plus that ending WIP because it was reported in the negative, so it's really subtracting it out, which gives us 211,000. So we've completed cost of goods manufactured, and then the second part of this was to do the cost of goods sold. And so for our cost of goods sold, we're going to start out with our beginning finished goods inventory, which is listed here as 18,000. Then we will add our cost of goods manufactured, which we need to pull down from the cost of goods manufactured we just calculated, 211,000. And that's going to give us cost of goods available for sale. So we'll add those two together to get cost of goods available for sale of 229,000. Then we subtract out our ending finished goods inventory, which was 25,000. And remember, if you're using the Excel functions, you need to add these together because the 25,000 is reported in the negative, so we get cost of goods sold of 204,000.